Hey everybody, this is me, the Undead Viking, and this is Exodus. Now this is the second game, as you can see, in the Z-War 1 world. I did a review for the first Z-War 1, man, that was a while ago. I still have the game because I just really liked it. I just really enjoyed the theme of it. I really enjoyed going through the comic book narrative of it, and I just it's miniatures on a map, going through their skirmish battles, and that's just something that I've really been into lately as far as the genres of games that I've played. I kind of enjoy the competitive nature that it brings out of me when I do play them. And if you give me a really good theme and a really good story to kind of immerse myself in, then the game itself becomes like, I've always said this in my videos, like, like I can see the scenes of it on like a TV show or a movie, and they play out in my head. And these are the types of games that my friends and I will we'll act it out as we're playing. The zombies are eating me, that sort of thing. We'll make those comments, and it gets everybody at the table. They're blood pumping and they're having fun. But so when Rob asked me if I'd be interested in taking a look at the new one, I was like, man, I've been waiting for a new one of these games forever. So yeah, man, I'd love to. So thankfully, I got a copy of this. I played the heck out of it with my daughter, and we had a blast. So if you played the other one, a lot of this stuff is going to feel very much the same to you, but the rules are really, really straightforward. And I mentioned, I'm probably going to mention a few times that like the rules seem intuitive, and I love when rules just make sense. Like, I'm getting ahead of myself, so I'll probably talk about that in my final thoughts. But let's go ahead and take a look at Exodus, and we'll go ahead and show you how the game is played, and then we'll come back to me and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, cool. Alright, so this is Z-War 1 Exodus, and this is the first scenario. Now, just like the original Z-War 1, the game actually comes with like this cool comic book, and so you can actually read the comic, and it tells you the background of what's going on, and then after you read what's happening to our two heroes, you will then have your first mission. And in this case, you set it up, as you can see I've done, and what you do is then you just read the mission. So the heroes begin at their start points, which we've put them over there. You can see them standing over there. And then heroes must carry out a search of objective rooms 1 and 2. And it might be kind of tough, but you'll see there is like this little 1 there, and then there's this 2 here. And so I've gone ahead and placed, there's the 2 in the door over there is blocking that 1. But, they're in those locations. And then it says once you've completed the search of 1 and 2, in no particular order, don't have to go 2 or 1 or whatever first. They're done, and then you have to go to the ship over here, objective number 3, and as long as there's no infected, no zombies, no monsters in that room, and once both heroes are there and you've done a search and any infected units have been killed, then you've won this particular scenario. The game tells you where to put everything as far as spawn points, and you can see those are on the board as well. It tells you where to put the starting zombies that are on the board. It also gives you the turn spawn and the room spawn information for this particular mission. So when you enter rooms, when you first enter a room, you're told to roll a die, and it tells you, like either 1, how many zombies are in the room, if any, and then how far away those zombies are. So, and sometimes the rooms will be too small, but you try to put them as far away as it tells you. So, like if you roll a 5, it would be 1 zombie, and they'd be right in front of you. They'd be 1 space away. Whereas a 3 would be 1 zombie and 3 spaces away. Now the spawning, and I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but the spawning works kind of the same way. You will have no spawn possibly, but then you'll get the zombie from spawn A, spawn B, spawn C, and then you have roamers. Roamers are, you're forced to place a zombie as close to the heroes as possible without them being within sight of them. There's some good diagrams in the rules. I suggest you check those out. You can kind of look at that more in depth. But it's just once you play the game, and as well as this is a narrative-driven game. This is a a tactics game, but it also like this is one of those games where the rules just make sense, if you will. So they don't become convoluted anyway. But I invite you to go ahead and like read the rules in more in depth, and you can kind of see that for. And who knows? Maybe we'll have one pop up here, and I can show that to you. But anyway, so after you've gone ahead and set up the game, what you're gonna with the necessary, doors and objectives and zombies and what have you. Each person, this game does play very well solo, but each person will get their character card here, which they will use to have like their equipment and their weapons and so forth. And it does tell you like your starting equipment. Like she begins with armor, which is there, and then has one of each weapon. And he gets a shotgun and a pistol instead of a pistol and a .50 caliber pistol. And unlike armor, then he gets a med kit. So you get your starting equipment, and then each person will get one of these cool little charts here. And so then, depending upon the weapons they have, you start with the ammo in them, and as you use them, you decrease the ammo. If they get infected, you have this little chart here where you will slowly move further down the infected chart. Once you're bitten by a zombie, you continue taking damage each round, even if the zombies aren't continuing to bite you because you're infected and slowly dying. So just keep that in mind. And also, it has a location up here for when you level up, you can get different perks and improve yourself. So, I'll talk about that as well here, just once we get to like kind of the wrap up here. But so it even has like the process. So hero phase, infected move, infected spawn, and end phase. So the game moves pretty quickly as far as the action goes. But it's all just kind of knowing like the AI of how the zombies work, or like it isn't all zombies. There's these cool little kind of zombie frog shark guys. And what's cool is that when they're in the water, you can't shoot them, but you can see where they are by this. You can see it's just their fin sticking out of the water. There's also these pretty gruesome creatures as well that will be hunting you down and attempting to kill you. And each one of these, I should say, gets their own little stat thing. So, there's those reavers, the shark things, zombies, seekers. Oh, I forgot to show you the seekers. At first when I saw these, I thought, oh, it's like a zombie who's had his legs blown off. But no, you can see it isn't a zombie. You can see his face there. He's a seeker creature. And so, like, a seeker and a siren. That's the other one that I showed you. Each of these has like a grab test when it tries to grab onto the hero if it gets close, and then you roll on the die to see what happens, and then a bite test as well. And also, it has these stats here where it says it walks 2 spaces. It has a smell of 4, meaning that if it's within 4 spaces of a hero, it can smell them and it starts seeking them out in a very much faster way, meaning that here you'll notice that the charge is 4. So if a zombie can see you or smell you, it gets to move 4 instead of 2. So like as the fresh meat, if you will. All right. So enough yammering about that. Oh, of course I want to remember something else. So let me just show you like a weapon. So here's like a weapon card for a shotgun. It tells you the range for the weapon. So shotguns are 6, whereas pistols are infinite as long as you have line of sight. And then you have the roll for the attack. So on a 1 or 2, it'll miss. A 3 or 4, it's a knockdown, and a 5 through 8, that's a kill. And that's a quick shot. That's just like a like using one action point, and you're just taking a quick shot. Quick shots are good because of the fact that you can do them quickly, obviously, and they don't cost as much action points as an aim shot. But also, they can be done in like conjunction of a move as well. So like you can be like moving around a corner or something, and then taking a quick shot at a zombie that is there. You'll notice that the aimed for like the zombie is like you can't even miss. You're always either going to knock it down or kill it. You're probably going to kill it because the 3 to 8 is a kill. So that's how those work. And there is actually there are like weapons that are going to end up being like melee weapons as well. Oh, I might as well tell you this as well. So you can, if you don't have any, if you get stuck in a melee situation, you can just punch, which obviously you can see a 1 to 6 is a miss, a 7 is a knockdown, and an 8 is a kill. So those are never probably not what you want to do. But what you can do is you can get a hold of different melee weapons, or you can even construct melee weapons out of like gear that you have, and then you can actually turn them into like a melee weapon that you can use in hand to hand. So let me just show you that. So here you have like this steel pipe. You could find this as an item when you search. A steel pipe can be used to craft a pipe bomb or a spiker. So it actually will tell you so you need different things. So like you'll notice that like this scissors. Scissors can be used to craft a shiv, or it can be crafted a nail bomb, or a spiker. But we need that one final little bit. You notice that looks like we need some tape or something to put it all together. So if you had, let me just show you these. So if you had these 3 things, you have the tape, and you can see also on the top it actually has like the item denoted. If you had all 3 of these things, you could use those to create a spiker. Now, this is an action point driven game, and you actually have a very good listing right here of all the different things: move 1 square, and so on and so forth. And I'll talk about this a little bit more here in the future when I talk about what you do in your turn. But you can see if you have something where it says craft, it takes 4 action points to do that. So just something to keep in mind. Now, when you do successfully craft something, you have an equipment deck, and you can go ahead and find the thing. So like here's the shiv. We saw you can make that. It misses. On a 6 it's a knockdown. On a 7 or 8 it's a kill. It's still better than using your hand. But here's that spiker we were talking about. So you can see it's all like a lead pipe with scissors, duct tape to the end. But on 1 to 4 is a miss, a 5 is a knockdown, and a 6 to 8 is a kill. And obviously melee weapons aren't probably going to be as good as using a gun, but sometimes you're running low on ammo. You just have one thing left to kill, and you don't want to use up your precious resources. All right, so enough about all of that. Let's just talk about the hero turn. So the hero turn is pretty simple. One person goes. Remember, this is cooperative, so you're gonna be playing solo. So you just pick a hero to go. They're gonna use up their action points that they have access to. You start with 4 action points. As you take damage, you will lose some. There are some actions that that say they take 4 action points, like a search action. You can still do it with less than 4 action points. It just takes all of your action points to do the search. But the biggest thing is you're going to be moving. You're going to be moving and attacking. Those are the things you're going to be using your action points for more than anything. The big thing is that you can normally you move 1 space per 1 square. However, you can do what's called a sprint, which allows you to move 3 spaces for 2 movement points. So you notice that there is a crate right there. So one of the cool things about the crate is that normally you have to go into a room and you have to do a search action to find anything in there. But if you just run over a crate, you can go ahead and open it. So we could, and you can move diagonally in this game, so keep that in mind. If we go first with this character, we could go like sprint 1, 2, 3. We could sprint again. For 2 to get it over there. So we can go an action point to go here. So the next thing, we'd have 2 action points for all of our 4 to do 3 movement. 1, we turn that crate over. So when you do that, you destroy it, and then what happens is you take the top card off of the search deck. And so here, we got some duct tape. So now we're well on our way to making our spiker, and now we could move the other 2 from our second sprint. We probably don't want to go step in front of that door, but maybe we're just not even going to worry about that door. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to worry about getting to this one. So instead, for my next action, I'm just going to stand here, I'm going to go to there, meaning I'm going to get ready to be in that spot so I can get to that door. Now, we are in a situation where that zombie, when the infected move, is going to start shambling towards us. So the other player is going to set up their character in a way that they're going to be able to possibly defend us. And the way you do that is, first we're going to sprint. So we're going to move 3. 1, 2, 3, like so. And then we're going to do what's called a watch action. An alert action. So an alert action just basically preps the character for the possibility that they're going to have line of sight on a monster. And this is one of those tactical decisions where you know what you're doing. So you put an alert token by them, and you put the alert token showing the facing that you have, because this is an important situation that you. Facing does come into play quite a lot in this game. Basically, for alert, you're always considered to be like looking in all directions, and you can shoot in any direction on your turn. But for an alert action, we are alerting into like this way. So we'd have to see like the actual zombies show up. So after everybody's done their turn, what you'll end up doing is that you'll move the infected. And the rules state that you have to move the infected that's closest to you first. And so here you go, and you would go 1 and then 2, because you can go around the corner. You don't have to like step around. You can just go diagonally around the corner. But now, when we were here, we weren't within 4. We couldn't smell that particular hero. But now, since the zombies turned around, now it can charge. Now, normally it could only move 2, but since it can charge now, he's allowed to move 2 more spaces. He's able to get right up next to that hero and be able to take it. But remember, we've gone ahead and we've done a watch on there. So we are in a situation where our secondary hero can shoot either of her guns, she could be wielding both of them, one in each hand, or she could be wielding one of them. And I actually should have picked one to begin with, but I'm going to say she was wielding both of them in both of her hands. When you wield both of them, you can either fire either weapon, but you can't. But you have to do quick shots with them if you're going to be shooting both of them. You can do aim shots if you just fire one. But here you have a situation where she's just going to fire one of her guns, and she's going to be doing a quick shot. And we're going to use the .50 caliber pistol, because obviously, if on a 5 through 8, it'll kill the zombie. So it stops there because it's within range. We're going to take this die, we're going to roll it, and we're going to hope we get a 5 to 8. And we're going to take it out. I got a 5. Sweet. So blam, you kill the zombie. You take it off the board, and then you're going to take her sheet here, where she has her .50 caliber pistol. It has 8 shots. We're going to reduce that to 7. It's a good thing we picked that one, actually, because of the fact that the other pistol, if a 5 would have just been a knockdown. Now, a knockdown, I might as well just show you what a knockdown does. When a knockdown happens, obviously you're just going to knock down the zombie. You can shoot at it again if you want to, or you can attack it again, but you can't kill it with another knockdown. It has no effect. You have to get a kill result in whatever weapon you're using. You can, however, if you are right next to it, spend, as long as you have a weapon, and if you use your gun, you have to mark off a piece of ammunition, but if you have a melee weapon, you can use 2 action points and do what's called an execution, and you just kill it automatically. You don't have to worry about making a roll. Also, one of the cool things that happen, if zombies, when they move, whatever direction they last moved is they're facing. So if a zombie is facing away from you, and you're able to walk up behind it, you can then, and you can't be like, you have to be right next to it. You can't, even with you using a gun. But when you do that, you are able to kill it automatically with 2 action points again. You can just go up, no roll, just remove it from the board. Something that's kind of cool. Let's actually put this zombie back on that we killed. I just want to show you something. So when you're in watch, and this zombie is going to continue moving forward, trying to get to my partner here, you're allowed to shoot at it for every step that it takes, as long as they're within line of sight. So you kind of will burn through a lot of ammunition doing so, but it's a really powerful ability that you can have as you're getting prepared to play. So the other thing is that you can actually do a watch with a melee weapon as well, but again, you can only attack the things that are around you. But if you're in a situation where you had to move to here, you had a couple action points left over, and you wanted to put yourself on alert, and but you're only going to get that one shot. But you are going to have situations where you're going to need to use that one shot and hopefully be able to protect yourself. Since I have these two, this hero and this zombie sitting here, I might as well show how the zombies attack. So when zombies are next to you, and this is, like, I should say infected. So when any infected is next to you, and they can still have actions and what have you, they will do what's their grab test. And so when they do a grab test, you can see here, on a 1 to 4, they'll take you down, and a 5 to 8, you're safe. So, just you roll a die, you see what you get, and 5 to 8, you're safe. However, if I had rolled, like, say, this 2 here, you were considered to be taken down. So you remove this, you put your character down, and then you actually take the zombie off the board, and you place it on your player board like so. There is no limit to the number of infected that can have you taken down, and you place them on this board. And so you are then would have to check and see if you have been bitten. And so for the zombie, a 1 to 4 is a bitten status. You would then roll the die to see if you got bit. I roll a 5, I'd be safe. But if I were to roll, like, say, a 3, then that is when you would adjust your infection dial that's on this board. And it actually tells you right next to it, like, this stage, you're still with 4 action points, you're still with 4 action points, you're still with 4 action points, as long as you're within 3. But once you hit stage 4 and stage 5, you can see your action points are going to decrease. Now, when you've been taken down, you can still fight the zombies and try to destroy them and get them off of you. You can use the weapons that you have on hand. You can actually swap out weapons if you want to. Swapping weapons can be done once per turn at any time, and not only when you're taken down. When you swap your weapon, it's just a free action, but remember, you can only change the weapons that you have equipped one time during your turn. You can't use an aim shot when you have been taken down and you're grappling the infected. So you only can use your quick shot abilities, and your helper, your opponent, or not your opponent, your cohort in this mission can actually come up and attack the other zombies, but they have to be right next to you to assist. You are considered to be rolling around, and they have to get close to be able to assist you in that way. You also, when you have been taken down and you have infected on you, you have the option to use a sweep action. When you use a sweep action, what happens is that you just take one of. So if you have multiple infected on you, you're going to take one of the infected and you're going to push them off into any square that's next to you, and they're going to be prone. That costs two action points to do so, and because and this is a situation where maybe you'd actually want to, like, if that person was next to you, you'd sweep, you'd kick them, knock down next to you, and then your partner on their turn could use 2 action points to go with an execution to kill the zombie that's next to you as well. You are able, like, the people next to you are able to use the execution ability as well if they're still grappled with you. But once again, you have to be, in this thing right next to the person adjacent, just like normal execution rules work. If you're prone, you can stand up, or you can start crawling to move one space. It costs 2 action points when you're crawling. But if you want to stand up, you just say you're standing up, and that costs action points as well. It costs 2 action points to do so. So, again, these are, like, pretty standard abilities. I mean, there are all kinds of things like, when you're prone, you can also, you can shoot You can actually take an aim shot. You can reload your gun. You can exchange inventory. I mean, most of the things you can do. Just once again, going back to like when the rules, the things just make sense. It makes sense that you'd be able to do this if you're crawling on the ground. So therefore, the game kind of allows you to do so. I like games that have intuitive rules, and I nobody wants to be scratching their head saying, well, why can't I do this? It doesn't make any sense why I can't do this. Well, the game before this in this series had an intuitive rule set, and it has continued on with this as well. All right, so that's pretty much what you're going to be doing on your turn. Why don't I show you exactly like when you get into a room? So when you activate, you open a room and you open a door and you step into a room, you will activate that room. When a room becomes activated, what you will do is you will take one of these tokens with this little magnifying glass with the question mark, and you're just going to put that in the room to show the fact that this room is now active. That means that like roamers could appear in there, like zombies can move through that room now. Zombies can open doors, but they're not going to open doors to rooms that haven't been activated. So you can just keep that in mind. So I keep saying zombies, I should say infected. But anyway, regardless. So once you walk in, as I said, you're going to go ahead and you're going to roll a die to see if there's anything spawned in there. And actually, I shouldn't have stepped in. The moment that you open the door is when you've activated it. So I'm going to roll a die. We'll see what happens. If I roll low, I didn't roll low. So I've rolled a 5. What I have, it's a zombie, and it is one space away. So I open the door, and there's this thing that wants to eat me. Now, if this was like the last action I had, if I used my last action to open that door, that's a very bad decision. Always try to leave action points available after you've opened the door, in case a situation like this happens. Because the bad thing is that I actually block line of sight, and if and I can't move out of the way, and I can do anything. So the zombie's going to get a free attack on me on this next turn. But if I had, say, an action, I could take my quickfire action, I could shoot my shotgun at it. Let me just see what I get here. Oh, I don't even think that's good enough with a quickfire. If I had one left over, that unfortunately, if that was the case, that would be a miss. But I might be zombie food here in this next turn. But anyway, regardless, if you do take care of the zombie and you get into the room, this is when you can go ahead and you'd search the room. Once you have your full complement of action points. When you search the room, and this is an objective room, you take that token and you are going to remove it, and you're going to replace it with a token like this. And that shows that the room has been searched already. When you search the room, we're going to take a card, and here we got pistol ammo, so that's always good. We can reload the pistol ammo. Also, you see it can be used as part of a pipe bomb as well. So, and then since we searched it, we've done the search, we've completed the objective. Now, myself and the other hero can make our way down to the second objective, which is down here, and we can investigate that, and then to complete the mission. So once the infected go, then you're going to have the infected spawn. So this is, you're going to roll a die, and let's see what we get here. I got a 2. 2 is actually really lucky. 2 means that we don't have anything spawn. If you remember, I showed you that chart here, but I'll grab it here. But just let's roll again, see what we get here. Okay, now there we go. We have a 7. So we have a roamer. So a roamer can't see you, but a roamer has to be set up as close as possible to you. So basically, it's something that's going to encounter you really, really soon. So let's go ahead and actually do the roamer rules. All right, so roamers go in the closest possible active square that no hero has a line of sight to. Basically, the roamer is going to come and track them down and attack them, and it's just a menace that they're going to have to deal with on the next turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the other players, and I had removed those doors you can see. So there is a door there. I just want you to be able to see the figures. So this is not an active area there. But so now we're going to look and see what we have line of sight to. So she's probably pretty good because of the fact that she has line of sight to that location. Those spots over there are kind of far away as far as those are concerned. But here we have a situation where if the zombie was placed there, it would be 1, 2, 3, right there. And even if the zombie was placed here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to her. So the roamer is going to end up in that location. It's going to be within smelling distance of both of the heroes, and it's going to go there. If two heroes are actually like the same distance from the roamer that gets spawned, each of them rolls a d8, and then the lowest rolling hero will get that roamer, and like as far as its distance from them. But that's how the roamer spawning works. So after you've gone ahead and done the spawn of the infected, you are going to do your end phase. If you are infected in any way, you're going to increase or decrease your health by 1 on your infection dial. So if our hero had gotten bitten and they had that one bite, you move it down by 1 and to show that the infection is spreading and they're slowly dying. You also, if there's any counters on the board, like if you had any alert counters or something, you're going to remove those, and any infected that were knocked down will stand up at the end of this round and be ready to go for the next one. Once all that is done, you are going to check and see if you defeated the mission. If you haven't, you're going to go ahead and start up with the next turn. Each person, once again, cooperatively decide who's going to go, what your tactics are, what you're going to do to handle this new threat. You both take your actions and go through the whole process again. Hero phase, infected move, infected spawn, and then the end phase of just did. This is, as I said, it is a narrative game. It is a tactical rules set game. It is a people on a map telling a story game. And these are right up my alley. These are the things that I enjoy and things that I have a lot of fun with. One of the really nice things about this one is that obviously you have multiple pages of story that you're going to go through. And you are going to be in situations where you're not going to be able to play through the entire scenario in one given night. You could just do this as a one-shot if you wanted to, but obviously I think that playing out the entire story and seeing your heroes kind of grow and level up, that's what makes this fun. So you do have these little tickets where you have these end of mission, so you can actually mark down different things that you have and keep that stats and know what you have, so you don't have to leave the game set up all night, for like a week or so until your friends can come over and play again. But you can just write those down and just get ready to play the next mission. I did mention the fact that you can level up. There are these perks. The mission itself will tell you whether or not you get to level up. Also, in the time it takes between the end of the mission and the next mission, there's many other things you can do. Like if you have excess equipment that you can use to build things, you can do that for free, stuff like that. But these perks you get will have different things, like Shogun. It's a melee perk. This perk gives a hero +1 to any attacks made using melee weapons. When making an attack with a melee weapon, add 1 to the result of the dice. And this is one of those like you're leveling up type things. Ballistic perk. This perk allows a hero to make a quick fire action during a sprint action. The attack can be made in any direction from any of the 3 squares of movement. The run and gun action costs 2 action points, the same as a regular sprint. Normally, you can't shoot when you're running. You can, shoot as part of a move, but that's just an added thing that you do. And let's just show you one more. So the Curb Stomp, a melee perk. This perk allows a hero to carry out an unarmed execution action for 2 action points. Remember I said that you had to have an item equipped? Well, now you don't. You can walk up and just go ahead and take out a zombie or an infected without having to have a weapon in your hand. Also, like a pretty good ability to have. And that also gives each of your players builds them up. And it kind of, since you're picking those different powers and picking those different abilities, they kind of become yours in a way. And you can kind of see like a progression as the game continues. The last thing I want to show you is that if you have somebody who really wants to play, but you don't have, there's only 2 of you who have the heroes, you can have a situation where you have the director, basically one player working against the other 2. In the director mode, it's just like that. Remember, this is a narrative game. This is like you're watching a movie. You're reading the comic book, and this is the movie based on the comic that you're watching. So the director wants to make the zombies win. They want to have them destroy you, and they want to tell the story of like the bad guys triumphing. So each of these just has these special little abilities that you're going to be able to use. Like a prone infected may auto grab a hero on an adjacent square. Play this card during the hero movie fight. It's the first time a hero comes into an adjacent square. So these are just cool little abilities that you're going to use. Ambush, 2 roamers. Place 2 roamers in available blind spots of your choosing. Horde, spawn 2 zombies on any active spawn point of your choice. Oh, and I should have mentioned that we didn't actually roll for the spawn location, but the spawn table will actually tell you which spawn point will spawn the infected, and you place those on there when you begin the game. And so here's like direct control. Assume direct control over any unit for the duration of the game. So no longer will the units be going by AI. You will get to decide what certain things do. The zombie gets a hint of intelligence and is no longer just a mindless undead. I think the director mode is awesome. I love playing the director. I like being the bad guy. Plus, I really like being the director when I played my daughter and let her control both of the heroes, and I just actively tried to be like the zombie king, trying to take her out, and we had a great deal of fun with that. This is just a fun game. I mean, a lot of people will tell you that the zombie genre is played out, but I say no, because games like this come out that have a lot of fun. They have a lot of cool storyline and narrative elements, and the designer goes the extra mile to make them an enjoyable, quickly paced, fun game. But I'll talk about that and more in my final thoughts. There we go. That is Exodus. All right, so cool. I've kind of been telling you exactly why I dig the game already, but I'll just kind of make a little summation here. Biggest thing for me is the story. The narrative, the attempt of the designer to not only create a game that is just super cool looking and super cool and fun to play. There's just something fun about moving your people down corridors in the maps, climbing aboard the boats, and searching for these things. But the fact that we have instead of I'm not knocking games that do this, but instead of a block of text to read aloud for everyone, the fact that you have this cool comic book to read, so you actually can see the people in comic book form, but you can see the people in action. You can kind of get a feel for their dialogue, what they say, how they act, that sort of thing. It then transfers into the world that you're playing, and it once again steps up that immersion. If this was just hey, we're gonna go in here and kill zombies and stuff, that'd be cool. I mean, that'd be fun and all, but I mean, the fact that you have names for the people and you're just ooh, it's you kind of you buy into it, and that's something that is huge for me. Now, if it's a game that doesn't have immersion qualities, if I'm playing a very, very dry Euro, I don't worry about that. But I do worry about that when it comes down to these types of games, these thematic games, these narrative, story-driven games. And ZWAR 1 delivers on that immensely. So that's, bottom line, the reason why I love the game as much as I do. Because my daughter and I were high-fiving each other when we were working well together and being going through the missions and succeeding at them. When I was playing the director of the zombie movie, she was clenching her fists in anger when I was doing things and playing certain cards, oh, am I gonna getting ready to play cards that would screw her up. So those are those mutually enjoyable moments that everybody's having at the table, and so when she defeats my big monster that I thought was going to be able to take her down, she's doing her little dance of joy, and I'm playing the good loser, but secretly I'm pretty happy. But I mean, I play it up a little bit for her. But regardless, this is the type of game that builds up those moments of excitement and happiness. And I'm not saying that you can't get that in a non-narrative, non-storyline game, but I think it's a little bit easier, at least for me, to get that out of this. I mentioned the intuitive rule set. It's just, like I said, it makes sense. It just, oh, I have 4 action points. I know what I can do. I can just look at the board and figure out. There's nothing clunky to get in the way of just taking your turn and moving along. Action movies aren't about slowly moving down a hallway and, like, peering around the corner. No, it's about running and gunning and taking out zombies left and right. Go, 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 get in there, find our thing, go search for that, go grab that. Ah, there's a zombie in here. Stuff like that. Hey, quick, I'm taping together a pipe bomb. I'll be with you in a second. Those are all, like, exciting little moments that like, a little tiny glimpses of these action that in a long form altogether, once again, feed back into that narrative storyline, which is kind of the reason why I'm playing games like this. Yes, the tactics are fun. Yes, it's fun to roll dice. All those things are cool. But, again, just it's the theme, the story, the reason that I'm at the table is that, ultimately. If I had a rule set where I had my head in a rule book, like, hold on, let me check that rule 7.4 to see if that's no, I don't want that. So I could maybe see somebody saying, oh, well, these rules seem a little, simple, but that's what this game, I think, needs, and it fits it perfectly. Take the really convoluted rules and take them to war game night. And I love war games, but I know what I'm getting into when I go to play war games. The other thing I want to touch on is that I know that we've seen zombie games before. I know we've seen this type of genre game before. And, if that's not your thing, that's not your thing. But I, could this have been a different theme? Maybe, but we're in the Z-War 1 universe, for one. So I can't see the designer, like, saying, okay, so it's Z-War 1 universe, but now we're going to have vampires. Or now we're going to have aliens. I don't see that happening. So I like that it's a continuation from the preceding game, and so, like, it moves forward like that. You're still in that universe. It's like that warm hot bath. You know what you're expecting when it comes into. And you know what? I don't care what you think. I think zombies are cool. I think the whole infected, mutated creatures idea is cool. I like the fact that we have these cool little, like, kind of sharky, like, toad zombie things, swirling around in the water. There's even, like, this, I forgot to talk about this, but there's even this cool little, like, dinghy that you get to drive around on some levels because you're in, like, open water, and that's when you're, like, dealing with these guys who want to eat you and stuff like that. So it isn't always going to be just creeping around little passageways. As you get further into the storyline, you're going to encounter more and more, like, cool new, like, locales that you're going to be, doing this game with. So stuff like that, I just love it. I just really love the game. It does have a thing where, like, it tells you that if you fail in a scenario, like, you can go back to a save point. There is rules for that. Like, hey, we saved the game here, kind of like a video game, and you can go back to that point. But, like, if you can, and that works. I'll be honest, I didn't really use that. If we failed, we just started over and said, we got to do things differently this time. I probably should have used the save point situations because it probably would have saved me some time. But, you know what, that's fine. I didn't play well one game and I rolled really horribly. I lost the mission for my daughter and I, so we started over and, hey, we came back and we won. That was pretty awesome too. So, there you go. That is Exodus Z-War 1. If you have any questions about it, go ahead and ask away. I'll try to answer those as best as I can. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Until next time, this is me telling you out there to just be the best possible you can be, and be the person that people want to spend time with. Be the happy, cheerful person that brings people up instead of putting them down. And I guarantee it, if you focus on that positivity, you yourself will start to feel it yourself, and you'll be a happier person. So, until next time, I'm the Undead Viking, telling you to have an awesome day, sir or madam, because you know what? You are awesome, and you deserve to have an awesome day. Cool.